Welcome back to the Hagee Hotline. I'm Matthew Hagee, and it's Thanksgiving week. Certainly after the food has been eaten and the family settles in, there's going to be spots reserved on the couch for some of America's favorite pastime, football. When it comes to football, people want to know, how do these individuals acquire the contracts that they have? How is it that they come by the things that the league is willing to give them for their trade? And today we have on our program an individual who is known as the ethical and moral sports agent. He's actually written a book, My Brother's Keeper, Above the Dotted Line. I'm speaking about Eugene Lee, who joins us now from Trump Tower in New York. Eugene, how are you?
I'm good, Matt. How are you doing?
I'm doing well. Thank you for being on our program today. Football certainly goes hand in hand with Thanksgiving, and you've been involved with football for a long time. You don't look like you've been around long enough to do anything for very long. How old are you, and how did you get involved in the NFL?
Well, I've heard that quite a bit. I'm not complaining. I'm 43 years old.
Wow.
So I've been in the industry for 18 years, and I just came into the industry organically, somewhat. By the grace of God, I met my first clients playing pickup basketball while I was in law school at Notre Dame, became friends with some of the guys on the team, moved to New York, began practicing contractual law, and the timing was perfect because the skill set I was gaining, the experience I was cultivating, it allowed me to excel in the work I was doing for my Notre Dame players, and it allowed me to transition seamlessly into this line of work.
Well, and this is Thanksgiving week, and you mentioned you're 43, relatively young in terms of the career that you're in. Having done this for 18 years, the Bible says that the steps of the righteous are ordered of the Lord. Without a doubt, when you look at where you are and how you got there, you see God's hand in every bit of it. And for that, you're grateful. What is it that you have done with your career that has given you this title of being the moral sports agent?
I've never put passion over principle. I was never one to, and thankfully, leaning on my faith, I was never one to take shortcuts in order to achieve success. How do we define success? Is it through monetary gain? Is it through acclaim? Or is success defined by doing the will of God, seeking God's purpose for your life where He can use you for His glory? And I've really come to know that in the work I've done for my clients over the last several years, especially in the last 2 years. I've come to understand that when you seek God's will and you ask Him to use you, where He guides, He will provide. And I know that this is where I'm meant to shine His light, and we are making a difference, and we'll continue making a difference in the lives of the young men we represent. And so that really energizes me each and every day.
Well, and as you and I are having this conversation, when it comes to sports stars and it comes to the image that's often portrayed about them, there's a lot of sensation, there's a lot of ego, there's a lot of self. You are obviously sharing your story in this book and here in this conversation. You have a lot of humility, you have grace that just exudes even in the statements that you've made already on this program. How has your character played a role in influencing the lives of the individuals that you represent?
I believe it rubs off. I have friends of ours that aren't believers, there are clients of ours that aren't believers, but when they see you live your life a certain way each and every day, you start to become an example to them whether they know it or not. And for me, that's the best part about the industry. Having a young man on my team, offer to say grace over a meal. Having another friend of ours, not even related in the industry, but a friend of ours from the neighborhood who wanted to stop and say grace and say a prayer for my unborn son. These little things add up, and they mean quite a bit to me. And they basically excite me, and they energize me and motivate me to continue to do what I do in this industry, knowing that I am shining God's light.
Well, and I think it's important for people who are watching that, they're certainly intrigued by what you do and who you work with, to understand that you recognize this as a platform that God has given you to be His ambassador to the individuals that need to meet Him. Just like God has given them a platform to be His ambassador in their circles, and to consider that the same principles you're applying in what you do are the same principles that they should apply. Truth, integrity, humility, a strong work ethic, not taking those shortcuts, so that they can shine the light just as you've shined the light. You know, many of these principles are written about in your book, My Brother's Keeper. What other things do you communicate in that book that you want people to walk away from going, you know, I can use more of this in my everyday existence?
The underlying theme for me from the book is that where you expect God the least is where you find Him the most. And I've seen that play out time and time again in my life and my professional career. There were times where I thought that the world was going to end, my career was over, that I took a hit, I took a major loss in the industry, maybe not signing a player that I felt I was destined to sign, and I felt that it would be the end of my agency as I knew it. But in hindsight, always in hindsight, looking back on what transpired, how everything eventually played out in God's perfect time, I have realized time and time again that it wasn't my plan that was for my own good. It was God's plan. And it was His will in His perfect time that actually was in my best interests. And that has happened and occurred to me time and time again. So that would be the one piece of advice I would give viewers out there, that where you expect the Lord the least is where you find Him the most. You just need to look.
Absolutely. You know, the Bible says that He can do above and beyond all that we could ask, think, or imagine. We just have to trust Him to be who He promised He would be. This is Thanksgiving week, and it's a time to be grateful. You work in an industry that's obviously got a lot of presence during the Thanksgiving holiday. Whenever you consider the work you do, there's a lot of people who want to use the word greed, but I see you working from a motivating factor of gratitude. What do you see as the difference between those two, greed and gratitude, in the work that you accomplish on a daily basis?
When you work from a position of gratitude over greed, you work with an eternal perspective. You work giving thanks for the blessings you've been giving and asking the Lord to utilize those blessings and those gifts and talents for His glory, to make a difference in the lives of people you meet, whether in your professional career or in your lives. So that plays again into humility, knowing that there is a God and that you're not Him. But what you do have is an obligation and an opportunity to utilize all that you've been given for His glory and to make a difference on this earth. And so for me, being so grateful for the blessings I've been given, my unborn son who's due any day now, the wonderful family that I've been blessed to receive, and the purpose that has been made known to me of the work and the impact I'm having on the lives of these young men in this industry, that empowers me more than anything else to continue fighting the good fight.
Well, and when you work from a position of gratitude, the title of your book becomes a reality. You do become your brother's keeper because you are willing to put the best interests of others above your own. And when you do that, not only are you living in a Christ-like manner, but God Himself has promised that He would take care of the needs that you have. It says in the Bible that it's more blessed to give than to receive. Eugene, blessings to you, to your family that's growing. Congratulations on the forthcoming birth of your son. May this Thanksgiving just be a time of blessing and celebration in your life. And to all of our viewers out there, I want to recommend to you reading this book, My Brother's Keeper. You're going to find the information not only intriguing, but you're going to find the truth to impact your life in a great way. Eugene, always nice to see you, and thanks for being on the Hagee Hotline.
Thank you, Matt.
Thank you. Have a great day.